BAND-MAID are a Japanese heavy metal slash hard rock band. They are also thrown into the kawaii metal and visual kei subgenre of Algora kei. So of course there is a visual aesthetic to the band where they basically wear maid outfits while they perform. Just Bring It is their fourth studio album, released on January 2017, and it is a follow-up to Brand New Maid, which was released on May 18th, 2016. So this album came out like less than a year after its predecessor, and it's followed up by an album about a year later. This album charted number 16 on the Japanese Oricon charts and number 20 on the Japanese Billboard. So yeah, I did have prior knowledge of BAND-MAID before listening to this album, and in fact, I did know of two songs before this album. Those being the two singles, YOLO and Don't You Tell Me. I'm a lot familiar with YOLO though, as Don't You Tell Me I've only really listened to twice before listening to this album, in which I was watching the very fantastic music video for that song. And this is my thoughts on the album Just Bring It. I gotta say, I very much enjoyed this album. It was a really fun listen. The guitar work from Konami on this album is fantastic, and the guitar solos and riffs are creative. The bass from Misa is actually present here, and not barred in the mix, like under all the instrumentation, like what I hear from a lot of other albums in general, is like the bass will just kind of be not really, like it's there, but at the same time you really can't hear it. Yeah. The drumming by Akane is very much good, and sometimes has a little bit of time to show off here and there, but overall it does a really good job of like keeping everything together. All the musicians complement and work off each other as well. Saki gives a really good vocal performance and adds a slight distortion to her voice when are needed, and can really belt like good. She's definitely a vocalist I would say I actually look up to and kind of envy a little, but that's another thing. Miku has actually two roles in the band as the rhythm guitarist and the backing vocalist. She plays well to complement Konami's lead playing, and then she also does some backing vocals where her soft tone matches perfectly with Saki's powerful lead vocals, and they both sound really, really good on a harmonic level. And also with this album, the lyrics are actually really good too, from what I've read, because the majority of the album has had the lyrics translated. There's only 4 songs which are left untranslated, and judging by the lyrics, the album goes through themes of relationships, love, depression, anxiety, loneliness, introvertedness, pushing forward with confidence, hope, following dreams regardless of how people feel, being manipulated by others, and many more. This is an album that is extremely catchy despite the language barrier, which is a pretty impressive feat, I would say. Unlike a lot of the rock acts or pop acts, they don't have to rely on being solely catchy to have no substance after the catchiness. BAND-MAID does not sacrifice musicianship or abandon every part of the song that's like only 2 lines in the chorus for that catchy appeal. And going back to the lyrics, it doesn't simplify those lyrics either to be catchy in the verses. It doesn't like treat the verses as sort of an afterthought. And the album is very much, in terms of sound, a classic rock. It does have that classic rock vibe from the 1970s and 1980s, combined with like the heavy metal of the 1980s, while at the same time also having the modern rock like bands like Skillet. I would say some of the highlights of the album are some of the overall thoughts as I go through the album. I'm not going to go through every track, but I'll go through quite a bit of it. The opening track, Don't You Tell Me, was a great choice for the single on this record. It perfectly represents this album with everything that I just described earlier. Puzzle is a modern rock song, which also incorporates some heavy metal influences with the double kick and the chug riffs in the second verse. The third song, which let's see here. The third song is actually in kanji, so I don't know what the title of the song is, so I'm just going to call it track 3. It features a great chorus and the guitars with a slightly heavier sound than on the first 2 tracks. This song is also the standout song as far as a drum performance from Akane. YOLO is the song I'm the most familiar with on this album, and it is, to my knowledge, the lead single of this album. And it is a very solid rock anthem with a chorus that is slowed down significantly than the verses, but not enough to make it like a ballad. The track that is the 5th track is Cross, and I will say I was not a fan of the little ounce of autotune that was present on this song. I just wasn't a fan. It doesn't really fit the aesthetic of the song and the album as a whole. Thankfully, it's only on the small part of the song, which is at the end of the chorus. I should clarify, I have no problem with autotune if it's used properly as a vocal effect, or if it fits the aesthetic of a song or a project, and it's not used as something to cover a bad vocal performance, which thankfully here it's not used to cover up. It's used for vocal effect. However, I just felt like that didn't work here. Ooh Parts, which is track 6, to me sounded kind of like a filler track that was only there to pad the time. I won't say it's a bad song, I just found it to be very meh. Kind of feels like it's kind of like the ballad of the album, but I found it to be the only time during the album where I was bored. Checking the runtime of the song and then seeing it's not even the halfway point of the album, as I was listening, I was becoming worried that the album would suffer from 4 to 5 filler tracks. However, I'll say thankfully that was not the case, as this album picks up and went back on track with Take Me Higher, which instantly brings back the fun by opening with a whammy guitar and a second verse where the bass very much knocks it out of the park and dominates. Decided Myself is another amazing song in the album with very much that classy heavy metal sound taken to the forefront as an influence here. Secret My Lips is the last song and final single from the album that ends on the album with a bang. And all the best aspects of this album are rolled into this track. It was not only a great choice for a single, but a perfect closer for the record, just like how Don't You Tell Me was the perfect opening. The lyrics of the song make the meaning of it kind of ambiguous, unless it's already come out what the meaning of the song is, because I'm not like too into like that BAND-MAID circle. Like, I'm a fan of them, but I'm not like, know all the know-how. So if like someone actually does know the meaning, then I'll probably look like an idiot here, and you can let me know in the comments what the meaning of the song actually is. I kind of had 3 interpretations looking at the lyrics. The first is that it's about a couple getting divorced as quickly as they got married. The second is it's about a girl who had her heart broken after she falls in love with someone who leaves her after a one-night stand. Or the third option, which was sexual assault. All 3 are very different, but you can make a very strong case that for all 3. I would say overall, I would give this album a 8 out of 10. A very strong 8 out of 10 to maybe a light 8.5 out of 10 or a light 7.5 out of 10. My favorite tracks on the album were Don't You Tell Me, Puzzle, track 3, Take Me Higher, So What, Decided Myself, and Secret of My Lips. That is my thoughts on that BAND-MAID record. Let me know what you think down below. I'll do my best to leave a link to this album's iTunes, Spotify, whatever, so you can go ahead and check out this album for yourself. And that's all I have to say, and peace out.